Welcome to Triumph and Disaster, a show dedicated to manly creativity and culture. Brought to you by your host, Cameron McHarg.
Hey guys, it's Cameron McHarg. We're back for another episode of Triumph and Disaster, and this week I have Eagle U. That's his real name, Eagle, which I think is maybe the most badass name I've ever heard, and it fits him perfectly. He's kind of a badass dude, and he looks like a fucking warrior guy. He's kind of this jacked up dude with the shaved head, and I guess, as he says in the talk here, he I'll post it up on the Triumph and Disaster blog.com too, but I guess he plays a samurai in some short film. I think it might have been a Vimeo staff pick or something like that, but I'll have it up there, and he's perfect for that. So anyway, super cool guy, and I've known him for a little while, for a handful of years now actually, and I actually had him as one of the SWAT guys in this Doritos commercial that I directed, so he's in there. But we met at this German beer garden, and we partook. So the conversation gets a little better and better as we go along. So Eagle is now this is pretty recent. He's a butcher, just a real craftsman. He has a business called Aged Butchery, aged like old aged, Aged Butchery. So if you go to agedbutchery.com, you can see his stuff. And I just kind of felt like it was an art. It's kind of an art form. It's a craft, but it's sort of an art form. And there's a lot of stuff about it that I think is kind of interesting that a lot of people don't know. I didn't know a lot of this stuff. Obviously, this isn't a vegan episode, but it's about meat. He talks about meat and what makes a good piece of meat, what makes a good steak. You know, what's the difference between, you know, organic or pasture raised or grass fed and all this kind of stuff. He talks about this stuff, which I really didn't know much about. So I think it's kind of interesting. And I hope you do too. Here's Eagle U. All right, we're on. It's Eagle U. By the way, you have probably the coolest name I think I've known of any guy. Eagle U. That's fucking badass. So, yeah, man, we just I haven't seen you in probably like 5 years or something like that. Or it's been a while since the short. You were a SWAT guy.
Yeah, that Doritos commercial.
Yeah.
Right?
Or yeah. It might have been. It's probably at least 5 years. Something like that.
No, I actually just showed my girlfriend before I came here, and she was asking me like,
where are you going?
how I knew you and stuff like that, and I was like, oh no, check it out. And I googled, I tried googling Doritos Super Bowl SWAT.
Oh wow, that's gonna bring up 10,000 things.
But I had to put in your name.
Oh, SWAT. Okay, yeah.
But I put in your name and Cam McHarg, and then it took me to one
or
of the. It was Funny or Die.
Oh, really?
I think it is on there,
I think. Yeah.
And then I came up with the commercial. I'm like, hey, check it out. And then I looked at the date. You know, she's like, when was that? Because she's like, you look exactly the same. And I'm like, that was.
That was at least like, I think it was like.
It was
5
2010.
Years ago. Wow.
That was 7 years ago.
Wow. Holy shit.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Well, that's when I said it posted. So it was 2010, and I'm like, yeah, that still looked pretty good.
Yeah, that was fun too. I think that was fun. There's a bunch of shit in there that didn't make it. And I'm bummed that it didn't make the cut. It's just not. You only have so long, man. You got 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Or 60 seconds.
Yeah.
But, yeah, man. Thanks for doing. So yeah, I'll post that up. It'll be on triumphanddisasterblog.com.
Right?
Yeah, so I'll put it up. It'll have a little resurgence. Watch for Eagle and the Doritos SWAT guy. All right, we're back on. Yeah, we're at this badass German beer garden. We just had to go reload. So I wanted you to say what you're going to say, but I'm really curious about how you trained, man. This seems like one of those old school things where you're an apprentice for like some seasoned, craftsman, and then, or did you go to some school, or how'd that work out?
So, like, I mean, traditionally,
with your dog,
the idea of apprenticing somewhere, similarly to what you're seeing, with like, sushi chefs and stuff like that. Like, you spend years kind of like following a master, butcher or sushi chef,
right?
And then you do all the grunt work. You understand every part of the business, and you work your way up the ranks, kind of thing, to be able to touch a knive, to actually start cutting and
before
stuff
you
like
actually do that.
Yeah,
right? Yeah.
But in this day and age, the place that I went to, when I was kind of like researching it all, and back then I had no idea about how apprenticeships traditional apprenticeships worked.
Weren't they like the old school, like the middle-aged ones, like 7 years typically or something like that?
Right.
Yeah.
And you go through the ranks. You go
You're a
as
journeyman
an
or
apprentice
whatever.
to a journeyman,
Right.
to to a butcher, and then to like a master butcher kind
Right.
of thing, right? And when I finally figured out like what all these kind of like labels kind of like meant, a master butcher is somebody that can confidently like teach somebody all aspects of the business.
Yeah.
Right? Now, the route that I went, I didn't know any of that traditional sense, but I saw the place that I went to, and they were offering an apprenticeship program, which is basically like you don't have to go through all the shit work. You pay X amount of money
To learn the skill.
yeah, and then you do a 4-month intensive like hands-on like full-on
You don't,
training.
Yeah, have to clean the shop for 3 years. Or
Yeah.
something. Yeah.
And they do kind of like interview you to make sure that you're somebody that's serious for it. So one, you don't waste your money. It was $15,000.
Yeah.
To
That's a
do
legit
it
school,
for
yeah.
4 months. I mean, it's not a school. It was just
4
a shop.
months.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So $15,000 for like 4 months. Like
It's an
a good chunk of
intense
change.
thing then too.
Yeah. And so like they take you through like I said, like lamb, pig, and beef, and then by the end of it you should kind of like know all of it, and it's really up to you to dive in and study it outside of your day to day when you're training too,
Right.
and kind of like ask questions along the way as well on what you want to learn and what you want to kind of take away from
Plus, yeah, you got to learn about this farming, all the different types
Yeah,
of
and
farming,
you
and
get to
then
know
your
about the farms.
relationships
They
with
take
that
you out to the
stuff, and the
farms.
feeds and all that shit. That's separate, right? So it's a lot of
Well,
stuff.
I mean that's part of it too. Like they take you to see the slaughter, so you understand that part of it, the importance of it. How like when you take an animal to slaughter, if the animal is stressed out, if it's stressed out on the day that it's killed, that's gonna have an effect on the meat as well.
Yeah.
It's gonna be like they're gonna be really tense.
right. There's
and
going to be
it's
a bunch of adrenaline or whatever.
yeah. So
whatever the case
that's
is.
gonna make like
Or they
really
can call
really
it
tough meat.
energetic if you're into that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And then, like, if they hurt the animals, if they're, like, mistreated during transport and stuff, that'll also, like, create, like, blood clots and, like, bruises inside the meat, which makes, spotty, like, blood clotty meat, which is not,
It's just horrible in every way.
Well, it's not aesthetically appealing to
Right.
in a meat case that
Right.
nobody's gonna buy that. They're like,
Right.
well, why does that got blood spots on
Like
it?
purple.
Yeah, like that doesn't look
Right.
good.
Right.
And we've seen all that, like in factory farm instances, like on these butcher forums that I'm in, like regular grocery store kind of like guys will post stuff, and when they inject animals with like antibiotics and hormones or and stuff like that, the injection points sometimes get infected.
Gross.
When they get infected, they create abscesses.
Yeah.
And it basically looks like green pus.
Well, and
It's
it is
disgusting. And if you cut into that on your table or on your saw,
my
on your
God.
bandsaw, like
All right, here comes the
by-
dry heave again.
yeah, right. Like they're required
And that's
at
actually
the shop to like completely like break down everything. They gotta clean it all because you can't have that infection on your on your tools.
And they really do. That is common then with the antibiotic. In like your basic grocery store, if you go to like a big chain grocery store, and you go to buy a chunk of meat,
yeah,
that chances are that has been injected with that shit.
yeah.
It's normal.
Yeah, I mean the
Standard.
factory farm animals are commonly given like I mean because they're in a confined environment. They're not they're living in unclean areas.
Yeah.
They're gonna get sick. Like anybody.
That's
It's
horrible.
like keeping them in jail.
They're like in big concentration
Yeah,
camps.
like people in jail are gonna you're gonna get sick.
Gross. All right, so here's the thing. This is what you're just outlining. This is not like it's not like some kind of hipster thing. You're talking about really legit shit. If you're talking about if you want a piece of meat, you should really try to get a real butcher and a real
Absolutely.
pasture
Like
fed.
you should
or
know what
you're legitimately. It's not bullshit. You're talking about really disgusting shit.
Well,
and mistreatment of animals.
that
too.
goes with any food too, right?
Yeah.
And even vegetables like the people spraying like pesticides or whatever, like on the produce. Like you want to know that, like you want to.
Plus, you don't know where it's traveling from and
Yeah.
what the process was to get it there, how long it took. And,
Yeah.
Okay, so this is not some hippy dippy hipster thing. You should really do your best if you can to try to eat locally.
Yeah, like
Pasture fed if you eat meat.
because
Organic if you're not.
I mean,
or
ultimately,
both.
like you might not see an immediate effect on everything that you eat, but these are kind of like more.
But it's just gonna. It will taste
down
better
the line,
too.
Down the line, yeah, it's gonna taste better.
It'll be a better
It's
experience. It's better for you. Yeah.
It's more nutritious.
It's better for the planet.
And look, like
Everything.
this is not gonna resonate with everybody. People are gonna be like, you know what? Like a lot of people, they're just gonna be like, meat's meat.
Yeah, but you know what, dude? Look, this is not some hippy dippy show, and you're not. This is not some hipster thing, and everybody that look. You'll see a picture of Eagle. He's a badass. Like he looks like a fucking. He looked like a fucking samurai. He's like this
And now
fucking
he's
yoked
cooked,
up dude with the shaved head.
knives and shit, yeah.
Yeah. So this is not hippy dippy bullshit. This is just reality.
Yeah.
This is reality.
I mean, this is the way our society has, what our society has gotten to, and it's up to the individual to really find out, what they believe in, who they trust, of where their food comes from. People say like, oh yeah, the whole farmers market thing is it's a trend, like it's a fad kind of thing. It's like, is it though? Like I just feel like.
It might be, but it shouldn't be.
Well, I had a post recently where I basically kind of like, the point was people don't value the worth of the worth of food for its nutritional worth, and that's strange to me because like food is what keeps you alive. Like that's what feeds your body, what keeps you healthy day to day to get you for you to live like the way you do, right? And in the food industry, everybody's always trying to look for the cheap option, like
of course,
the good deal.
That's
like,
capitalism.
oh yeah, like well, it's capitalism, but like,
and it's mass production for a mass population,
But the worth in that, right? Like you're willing to you're not willing to pay like say like $10 for a steak. Because like for one of my steaks,
right?
Because like at Ralph's you can get it for $4, right? But yet you're totally fine buying going to Starbucks and paying like $5 for a
I wonder what that is. That's interesting.
Right?
Yeah. So you want to save money so you can get a pus-filled,
yeah,
nasty tasting industrial hunk of dried meat.
Yeah. Right. But all the while, you're happy paying $5.
But you're not buying Folgers. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, right. For a cup of coffee that's like full of sugar and goodness, because like that makes me happy.
Right.
But like whoa, $10 for a steak.
I think that things are changing a little bit, and hopefully it goes beyond the hipsterdom atmosphere.
It's perspective. People need to kind of like. I think people need to kind of like wake up.
It is perspective because that's the thing. I think this is what's important. I want to hear what you're going to say, but I mean, it's like, a lot of guys. I don't want to. I don't want to go to some. I don't want to be associated with some fad or some hipster bullshit or some hippy dippy stuff. But that's the misconception right now, and that's kind of cool. Why I think we're talking. One of the reasons why we're talking is just like, dude, this is just a real deal. It's good. It's not just about like saving the rainforest or something like that, which is great. But you're gonna get it's so much better for you, and it tastes so much better. It's just a better fucking steak. If you want to grill something,
well, it's the
don't
thing.
go
Like,
to
people,
don't. If you can go to Eagle or someone like you, if you don't live in LA area, then do that. Do it.
See, like people see like prices for like the meats. For like the well-raised meats, and they're like I can't afford to feed my family with those kind of prices. But I'm like, well, if you cut down on the Starbucks and make coffee at home, or if you kind of cut down on
your daily $4 latte,
on your $10 salad,
right.
at wherever, like Whole Foods,
right,
it's
probably more than 10 there,
and take a step back and look at your life and see where you can kind of like,
kind of prioritize.
Prioritize, make adjustments.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm not telling you to buy all the expensive cuts. Like I said, like I mentioned earlier, you know, there is no bad cut, and there are really affordable large cuts that you can roast and you can make, you know, for the, like, make a meal for the week. You make a stew, you make a soup, you make, like, you know, roast or something like that. That's good for, like, the whole week.
Right. I make a pretty badass beef stew. But
yeah, right?
I have to use your stuff next time.
There you go.
But anyway.
But, like, you know, that'll last you for the week.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah,
and you can feed your family.
It's actually better a couple days after, I think.
Exactly.
When everything really just soaks in.
And then,
there.
like, you know, you make it like a base stew, and then the next time you heat it up, you know, you can freeze it for the week or whatever. Next time you heat it up, it only takes like a few minutes.
Right.
Right. You pop it on, you put it on medium,
and it's good quality shit.
Yeah. And people think like, oh, you can't zap it in the microwave. Oh, it's frozen. It's like, well, use a fucking pot, dick. Holy fucking Christ! Like, what are you like? Shit. Look, we've all been through it. Like, we've all gone through the fast food. Like, we grew up in
of course,
in an industrialized society.
That's why I don't know. I mean, this is most of this is new shit to me.
Yeah, you know, but like, you know, it's time to like really kind of like open your eyes and see what that's doing to you. And like, you know, you make the argument, it's like, oh, I can't feed my family. It's like, well, what are you trying to feed your family?
Yeah.
Fast food,
right? You
know. And you know, like, you know, all the fast stuff and all the conveniences of life.
So if you take your time a little bit, you can do it in a way that's just better in every single way.
Yeah.
It might take you a little more time, but you know.
You know, the funny thing is, like, you
something
know,
kind of satisfying in cooking something though. Anyway, instead
you know,
of doing
back
that.
in the day when people, like, you know, probably, you know, went, you know, got, like, you know, more whole animals, like in the age of, like, you know, people were actually getting it from the butcher and stuff like that. They probably had, like, you know, a separate freezer that would be able to house, like, you know, their stuff. But as, you know, as we evolved in society, you know, spaces grew tighter.
Yeah.
And you don't have as much space, so
right.
you're left with a single refrigerator for, like, a family of 4, and then
right.
you feel that squeeze.
Right.
And
sure.
like, oh, I need to, you know, save all that space for, like, you know, all the drinks and whatever and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know, not the real food.
Right.
Right. And people just stop eating real food.
But all it takes is we just need to slow down a little bit, right? Slow down a little bit and take your time.
I mean, like, you know, people that live in, like, apartments and stuff, you're not going to be able to afford space for, like, a separate freezer and whatnot.
But even, you know what, though, there's something so, not even going that far, of, like, putting a whole, like, you got a whole, you know, half side of beef in a fucking huge freezer in your garage.
Yeah.
Not everybody has a garage. You might have an apartment.
Yeah.
But there's something really satisfying when you talk about, like, making a stew that, like, I slow cook a stew that can take, you know, half a day, or I've made bone broth that took 24 hours. That's satisfying. And it is a creative act. It feels kind of creative. It's just really, and then it's like when you really make something good with really good, it's like, that it just feels better, man, and it is better. It's there is something kind of creative about it, and I think what you do is actually creative as well.
I mean, and you know, if you get good at it, like, you know, just take the time, like, and that's part of, like, what I loved about, like I'm not selling anything right now because I took a hiatus, you know, to find a space for my shop because of the whole USDA debacle.
Okay.
Right. But you know, when the customers are coming, like, that's part of what I loved is, you know, talking to them, you know, getting in touch with them and having them develop that relationship with me and guiding them on how to create these cuts and coaching them through how to make these changes in their lives.
Yeah.
You know, I had a lot of customers where, like, oh, I haven't eaten meat in a long time. You know, I kind of, like, I want to get back into it, but I don't trust, like, you know, the system, like, in the industry.
For good reason.
Yeah. And then I tell them exactly where my stuff comes from. You know, and like I said, it comes down to trust, right? You know, I can give them any story that I want. It's up to them whether they believe it or not.
Yeah.
How convincing I am. I mean, I can't take them out to the farm right away. Like, you know,
right.
like, you know, I could be like fucking Joe Schmo for all they fucking care,
yeah.
right? But, you know, if I sound genuine, you know, if I'm convincing enough, like, if I say the right things, which, you know, I probably give them more information than any, you know, guy behind, like, the whole food counter.
Sure.
I know where exactly the beef comes from. You know, I can tell.
You were there, literally,
I can
physically
tell them,
there.
like, you know, when this thing was killed, when I got it, when I cut it, when I packed it. You know, like, everything. from start to finish.
So you have a real kind of tangible relationship to the stuff that you're eating.
Yeah.
So speaking of that, we've all lost touch with that.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
Come on. I mean,
Look, this is a process.
As Americans. I mean, I've never all this stuff that we've talked about. I had no idea about.
Yeah, and this type of movement that if you want to call what I'm doing and these kind of like nouveau butcher shops that do whole animal and stuff like that. If you want to call it a movement of what we do, it's not gonna happen overnight.
No,
right?
but I see it happening. It is happening. And
Well,
the whole, me talking to you right now kind of shows that it's happening.
That's also the thing, though, right? It's becoming a thing that people are kind of jumping on a bandwagon of, right? Because they know there's a percentage of the population that's willing to pay a price for, whole animal and pasture raised stuff. So now the key words are out there. So I had an interview earlier today about with this journalist, and
you did?
Yeah, I actually did.
Wow.
So
you too. Look like a rock star.
Well, it was really random, but
that's kind of funny. But anyway, go ahead.
What we kind of touched on was I was telling her in the with all this shit that Trump and shit going on, right, and all the politics in the food industry world is another circus of politics that is full of fake information, mislabeled information or labels that are just abused and.
Sort of clickbaity.
Yeah,
kind
and
of
now
stuff.
you have to fact check all your food now. Right. It's a whole nother arena that you have to fact check and be oh, is this actually organic? How is it organic?
And what does that mean?
Is it 15%, 80% organic, or
just like grass fed that we talked about.
Yeah.
I'd see grass fed. Oh, I guess that's.
Yeah, I guess.
I mean, in my mind, I guess that means it's a little more natural. I don't really know, but what does that mean? It could be hay.
They ate fresh grass,
right?
But they didn't,
right?
Free range eggs, free range chicken, doesn't mean shit.
What does that mean?
It means that they're given access to outdoors, but they open a door from their coop, from the large coop that they're all crowded in. They open a door where the chickens have been in there for months.
Jesus.
That they've grown in, and they see this door. They're like, I'm not going out there. It's kind of like that Mel Gibson movie, right? Chicken Run. What's out there? I don't know what's out there. And, they don't go out.
What should we look for, dude? What should we look for? Bottom line, whether it's beef or eggs or chicken, what things should we look for?
I mean, it's hard to say.
Not just grass fed. You want to see? You said prairie. What'd you say? No,
pasture raised.
Pasture. I'm sorry, prairie.
Yeah,
prairie.
pasture raised.
Jesus Christ.
And
pasture raised.
You go to
look for that on beef.
Yeah, you go
what
to
do you look for? Oh, go ahead.
Yeah,
go
but
ahead.
you go to Whole Foods, right? And now they have a rating system, 1 through 5, on how pasture raised it is.
Oh, they
right?
do?
Yeah, and it's
it is or it isn't.
It's either it is or it isn't.
Right.
It's pasture centered.
What?
And it's
all right. Bottom line.
Yeah.
What should we look for to get the best quality?
You gotta go to your butcher. And you gotta have them convince you.
So above labels, if you go to, well, okay. Yeah, I mean, most of us really, if we tried, we could probably find a local butcher. But let's say you don't have one. Let's say it's a little bit too tough. What would you, in general, what would you look for label-wise?
So if you are going to go to Whole Foods, right?
Yeah.
Try to get as high of that 4 to 5 label, I guess.
All right.
If
look
if
for a
gonna,
5 in the pasture raised.
If that's going to be the best that you can do, I still don't
And that goes for everything, whether it's eggs or beef or whatever.
And then, if you're going to go for if you're going to go for chicken, and get it whole,
Really?
Get it whole and
get it local.
Yeah, just go on YouTube and learn how to break down a chicken. It takes 2 minutes.
But that's a thing with chicken too, is it should be a lot of chicken, if you look at it, it's from Arkansas or somewhere.
I mean, there's so many things out there that I can talk shit about right now.
Try to get it local. Try to get it local if you can.
Yeah.
And pasture raised.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Try to get it from a good source is farmers markets.
Right.
Get to know some of the meat vendors there. If they convince you, it's just be and don't go out there. Don't think everything don't think everything's grass fed. That's kind of what you don't want to ask.
That's like a thing of the moment.
I mean, people have come in. They're like, "Oh, is this chicken grass fed?" Chicken are omnivores.
Yeah, they don't eat a lot of grass.
Actually, don't even eat grass. Yeah. And animals aren't. I mean, I love animals. I respect them. But I mean, I've seen them. Obviously, they're not as smart as humans. And sometimes like when I've seen like farm kills, animals will go up to, they're around because they're all roaming around the farm, and they're around when, you kind of like stun the animal. Like on a farm kill, you stun the animal with a rifle, and then you bleed them, right? Okay. And then the blood's flowing out.
Right.
It'll wash away later. It'll soak into the land. But the other animals will come up and they'll start like kind of licking the blood.
Right.
They're like, "What is this?" I've never
Sure.
It's liquidy. It's something that and is that good for the meat? And you start like,
kind of want to avoid that.
Well, you don't know. It's like, okay, like I've gotten a cut. I've sucked my own blood. It's like, I guess it's not that bad.
I mean, one little instance isn't gonna do much.
Right. I mean, you shoot them away and stuff like
right.
that. But like, point is like you kind of do the best you can. Try to trust the source that you're getting it from. If it's convincing enough, like there's lots of places. There's a place in Echo Park. They get stuff from
That's in Los Angeles. Just so you know, people like listen to this all over the fucking place.
Yeah, Echo Park in Los Angeles. There's they get their stuff from Marin Sun. My Farmer. You can buy stuff online. And a lot of the good farmers that you can get their stuff online. Like
try to go to farmers markets.
Yeah.
You don't need skinny jeans and a bow tie
No.
and handlebar mustache to go to a farmer's market. You're just getting good shit. Just think of it that way. Fuck all that stuff. You're getting good. You're getting something good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, just have that conversation with a guy, and if
so
anything,
you got someone that cuts your hair there or whatever. You got someone that is your doctor. Get a butcher. Get a butcher.
If you have questions, fucking email me. I'll research whatever farm that you're thinking about getting it from.
Do you want to say what your email is?
Huh?
Do you want to say what your email is, or you just want to give your website?
Oh no, just go to the website. Just go to agedbutchery.com.
Aged.
AGED butchery.com.
Okay.
There's a place that you can send me a message. If you have any questions, like
cool.
It comes straight to my phone. I'll answer it right away. Like it's not. I mean, it's not rocket science.
Right.
And why I do this is because I wanna try to promote healthier and more nutritious meats, for people, and I want to help them out. Like people email me all the time, like, well, where can I get it? Like, and there's other butcher shops that are popping up around town. And I know the farms that they're getting it from. I'm like, I haven't been to some of them, but I know the guys, and again with the trusting is like, I think he's doing his due diligence. Like, he really trusts them. So, go with it.
Just go to your local farmer's market on a Sunday or whatever. Yeah. Talk to the guys, get to know them. If you're in LA, definitely go to Eagle.
Yeah. And then try to, even if you try them out for one time, see how you like it. See if they give you good advice on how to cook it. See if it tastes good. It's developing a relationship with your food, not only just the source.
Speaking of that, do you have any tips on grilling, by any way? Just general tips on grilling things?
Nothing that's not already out there.
Still the summer,
Well, I mean, for me, I a lot of the instructions, techniques on like how to make a steak is
horseshit.
No. I mean, you sear a steak, you sous vide it or whatever, but like, if you want to do like a decent amount of steak, like, definitely get a good sear. It gives that nice crispy texture.
So high temperature.
Yeah, high temperature. Get that good sear, and then finish it in the oven.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, finish the oven and get a meat thermometer.
Do you have anything on your website about this kind of stuff?
Or? Not instruction wise.
Okay.
Not yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you may in the future.
Yeah, I was gonna if I kept going, I was gonna make kind of instructional cards.
Yeah, you should get a YouTube channel, dude.
Well, that's one thing I want to talk to you after this. Like, I had an idea for a video thing that we could probably make kind of fun.
Okay,
and
so
we might be able to collaborate
check out your
on.
website. Stick with it.
Yeah.
Do you have some kind of social media on there, right, for your business somewhere?
Yeah, I mean, it's all under Aged Butchery.
Okay, all right.
Yeah,
so
you
go
can
there.
on Facebook.
Stay in touch with you because you might have that stuff in the near future. Like, you might have some videos.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
Stuff. All right, cool.
Definitely follow it and stay posted to the progress of finding a space.
Cool.
Once I lock down a lease, it'll be go time.
All right,
and then
cool.
we'll start getting the animals, And then we'll have demos, we'll have classes, we'll have barbecue.
Oh, cool.
We'll have fucking pig
That's
roasts.
super cool. No way. That's cool.
It's going to
shit.
be, in terms of your show, it's going to be the fucking manliest of fucking manliest shit you'll ever fucking
I'm gonna definitely keep everybody posted.
this is
so
no joke.
if you guys follow the Triumph and Disaster Twitter or the Facebook page or whatever, I'll definitely make sure to follow it because I'll make sure to put that up there when it happens.
Yeah,
because that sounds badass.
We're gonna make it happen. I mean, it depends on when I get the space.
Okay.
I got the money to do the raw side. We're gonna grow the business. It's gonna be for lack of stupid words organically kind of as I make money I can expand more into it.
Yeah.
I mean, I've tried to get investors or whatever and stuff like that, and I've thought about doing like a Kickstarter or barn raiser or something like that, but I don't know, I feel like I want to kind of do it all myself kind of thing. But
maybe someone will reach out to you that here's this, man.
I mean, if anybody's interested in investing, you got $1 million out there.
There you go.
I mean, I don't even need that much. All I need is throw me $100,000. We can get the ball rolling.
There you go.
We'll have
you
a
never
party.
know.
Yeah.
Might be some random dude.
And then you'll have a place to get roast pig,
that wants to do. Yeah, exactly.
Because where in LA you gonna get roast pig?
I cannot fucking wait for you to do that. I'm there now.
I mean, I'm gonna do that shit once a month, at least.
Oh my god! All right. I think we're probably getting close to an hour. So listen, before let's start to wrap it up here, but because we have our beers to finish too.
Yeah, I mean, we could talk about this forever.
I'm kind of curious though, when you're talking about how we're detached from the food that we eat. I mean, I'm speaking for myself too. I've never, most of this stuff I had no idea about. How has this experience, has this changed you at all? Has it changed your thinking at all or your consciousness at all as far as
completely.
When you started to train as a butcher and all this stuff, all this stuff that we've been talking about, how has it changed things for you? How do you look at things differently?
I mean, it's definitely raised my awareness. I mean, before I kind of went down that rabbit hole. It's, I was probably as out of touch as most people are.
Sure.
And
how can you not be? I mean,
I mean, come on. I come from a Chinese background. And we eat everything. We don't question where it's from. We're just and I wasn't well off, growing up. So, you're kind of eating to survive, which a lot of people kind of are. Yeah. So, in that aspect, you do kind of not think about where it's coming from. You're just thinking about I need this to sustain myself.
When I have this memory. I want to hear what you're saying, but as an example, I was probably 4 years old or something, and I remembered this moment where my mom made fried chicken or something. I was eating a drumstick, and I just thought, it's kind of funny that this is called chicken because I knew what a chicken was.
Yeah.
I didn't. I swear to God, I didn't know that that's what it was. I didn't associate that it was a chicken. I was completely detached.
Oh, it was an actual
chicken.
Piece of chicken.
Yeah, it was like a fried chicken, but I didn't really think that it was chicken. It's called, the bird.
Yeah.
I didn't. It's fun. I remember that moment. It's kind of funny, but that's how detached I was. Just 4 years old maybe, but you know what I mean. I didn't see the chicken get its neck wrung and plucked and I didn't know really what I was eating.
When we grew up, we didn't have internet or any exposure to all that, right? And that's what it is nowadays. People have the internet to raise their awareness, and we're able to think back upon our past.
But maybe more importantly, with this raising awareness, really, what we're talking about, really seeing where this comes from, really being a little more involved. And where your food comes from.
Understanding where it comes from, and also kind of appreciate.
Right. Well, I think that goes hand in hand.
Appreciate the worth of nutrition to feed your health, right? Because you're not gonna get healthier. You're not gonna lose weight solely by eating salad, right? I don't care what the vegans say. Lose weight by eating grains and nuts and shit like that. Yeah, we're not gonna bash on vegans right now, but
it's okay. I mean,
but that's not well-rounded diet, you know. And there's so many things out there that are like, you know, the dietary like you know, styles of paleo or gluten-free, and you know, like, and that's why I say it's very political in this arena, because like
it's very touchy too. Like,
yeah, it is.
I'm not
like,
even gonna.
You know who you're talking to.
I'm not gonna say what's. You look, whatever is right and wrong or whatever. But I mean, but the bottom line is being kind of involved and aware of exactly what you're eating.
Because like
where
what
it comes from.
what you're putting into your body is gonna have an effect.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, especially like, you know, I'm knocking on people that are, you know, having, you know, weight problems or whatever and stuff like that. Like, you know, you can, you know, it's also about understanding your body type and what it needs and how to adjust your diet to be able to like and.
I think when you're in touch with yourself, you know kind of what's right for you. I don't think there's a universal answer, actually.
One of the hard things for me is like, you know, I mean, customers that see me, they're like, you know, it's good because I look fit and kind of like, you know, they probably associate that with my meats and they're like, oh, if he's eating it, then he's gonna be fit. But like on the other side, like, you know, people that I know that have different body types, they're like, oh, well, you know, just because you're eating it doesn't mean that it works for you because you have that body type that doesn't gain weight, you know. And I do, and that's very true. I've never been one to, you know, gain weight easily. I have to work at gaining weight by working out.
Well, that's your metabolism.
Like and it's a metabolism, it's a body type. But like that's where it comes down to. You have to understand how your body's gonna react to certain foods.
It's not a universal answer for everybody.
Absolutely not. Yeah. You know, like it's got.
I think being a vegan might be great for somebody. It might be awesome, and I appreciate the environmental consideration. All this kind of, you know, that's awesome. It's not for me.
Yeah.
I'm not going to tell someone what to do, though, and I don't want anybody to tell me what to do. But, yeah, it's just not – I just think you need to be intuitively in tune with yourself and figure it out and know where it comes from.
Well, last thing I think I kind of wanted to touch on was that in the whole vegan spectrum of things, couple things. One time this is a funny story. Like I was at the Hollywood Farmers Market. I was selling my stuff, and a couple, I don't know if they were together, but like a couple came up and they're like, oh, hey, looked at my menu board. They're like, hey, you have bone stock, you know, because I turned all my bones into stock, sell it like that, and then people can go home.
Bone broth.
Yeah, bone. Well, it was stock. So stock is unflavored. It's just the
broth
raw,
would have like
broth,
salt.
Yeah, broth is like flavored with other things. So they came up, they're like, oh, you have bone stock. I'm like, yeah, I got bone stock. You know, I take all the bones, I cook it for about like 20 hours.
Yeah.
You know, and I make it stock.
It's delicious,
you go home
by
and
the
you
way.
flavor it by yourself.
Yeah.
Like, you know,
celery, carrots, salt,
I don't want to
whatever.
force my flavors upon anybody, you know. And
That's
like,
cool.
I'm like, you know, but I also make soups and chilies that actually have, you know, my own recipes and like, you know, meats in it. And they're like, oh wait, no, we don't want that because like we're vegans, but we just want the nutrients from the bone broth.
What?
And I'm like, so like for a split second, I was like, that's not how it works. You know, I'm not a vegan in anything, but that's not how it works.
But these are beef bones.
Yeah, right. I'm like, but the businessman in me
just let it go.
I was like, yeah.
There you go.
It has the nutrients that you want, so that'll be $12. So they bought it. They came back the next week. Like, that was awesome.
It is awesome.
Yeah, and they're like, you know, can we have another one? I'm like, absolutely, Mr. Vegan. Like,
yes, that's.
And then I was on the phone with my butcher buddy over in Pennsylvania, and he's like, yeah, we're doing bone broth in the morning. We're selling it by like kind of like small coffee cup kind of size, and people pick it up. And it's great for their morning kind of thing. And I'm like, yeah, well, I'm converting vegans. What do you got?
Awesome. No, not awesome. It's just whatever you like. Whatever you like.
Yeah, right.
How do you feel about? We're gonna wrap it up in just a minute. But have you ever hunted?
No, not yet.
Do you have any desire to?
I wouldn't mind it.
When we go back to being in touch with, you know.
Yeah, I mean, as
you're
long
a
as
butcher,
as long
so
as
I mean, if you actually, I guess, you want to call it harvest.
If I was, you know, if I went out and we were prepared to like field dress it properly and get it all done. I mean, hunting, you know, very similar to kind of like a farm kill, you know, but like, you know, you have to have the right kind of like tools to get it to the point that you want.
Right.
You know, my brother and his friends are really into more the gun scene, which is and I told them like they were talking about going wild boar hunting and stuff like that, and I'm like look, just promise me that if you do it with a company that is prepared
to dress
it properly
immediately and well.
Yeah, and have a place to don't just kill for the kill, kill for and actually utilize that meat and stuff like that,
or have a good guide or something.
Yeah, and do it in a good place. Like you don't want wild boar in some shit area eating other dead animals.
Right.
You gotta kind of be conscious of that too. Like you're not just killing
in a bad area. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you're not just killing raccoons and
eating trash.
You might as well eat roadkill at that point.
Right, exactly. So, hey man, is there this has been really fascinating. This has been really fascinating. I'm really glad we did this. Is there is there anything though that I maybe you wanted to say or talk about, or I didn't ask you about, or that, and or if you want to list off your website again, or however else, anything else you might want to throw in here at the end?
No, I mean, if you want to check out the website, if you want to, if you have any questions about meat, by all means, I'm very open to answering questions and about cuts or how to cook it or whatever, or where to get it. I'm very supportive of getting the right source of foods, and that's one of the other things. Once I open my shop, I want to put have a corner of my shop for the farmers market vendors that I've made established relationships with, that are friends and that I trust, and have them give them a little corner to put their kind of produce, so they have more exposure.
Yeah,
and then you really make it kind of like a marketplace.
Yeah.
But no, go check it out on agedbutchery.com. Facebook, Instagram. You
so
see
I'll put that up on
you see some of the stuff that I made. It's all fun stuff. But yeah, I mean, we'll hopefully we'll get there. Hopefully by end of the year we'll get something going. With the location and stuff like that. I'm gonna keep looking. I'm gonna keep pushing, and we'll hope for the best kind of thing. So
follow Eagle. Eagle and email him if you have any questions. That's super cool. And so we're at a German beer garden right now, and the special of the day today is Thursday, right? Is beef stew.
Oh, is it?
Hungarian beef stew. So I think I'm gonna probably have to do that now.
All right, we'll do that.
All this talk, I'm gonna have to. Sorry, vegans. I know I'm rubbing everybody the wrong way with that, but
and
I don't judge you, so don't judge me.
Well, that's last point about vegans. Us meat people, we don't have a problem with you, right? So stop protesting and getting on our case. You know what I mean? Because recently one of the things that pissed me off yesterday was this activist group hounded this butcher shop up in Berkeley.
Oh, of course, yeah.
And they forced them. Well, they made demands and made him put up a sign that said, "Killing animals is inhumane."
Or what? What would happen if he didn't?
Or they're going to keep protesting. So the butcher shop
pick it outside his business.
Yeah,
that's all he does.
And they've been doing it for a while. So they agreed. They're like, okay, we'll put up the sign. Just stop. Just get out of our hair, right? And then they said, they're like, oh, well, we'll never stop, but we'll lighten up on you. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me right now? I'm like, oh, if that shit went down there, I mean, that's just unnecessary.
Jesus, this just shouldn't even be a political thing. I'll just say this real quick at the end. Just let people do what they want. As long as it's not directly fucking with you or with your money. If it's not taking your money, or if it's directly harming you or your family, just let people do whatever the fuck they want.
People just,
especially someone like you who's doing things really responsibly. And like that place, I'm assuming, if it's a butcher shop in Berkeley, come on. this is probably about as good as it gets.
I know I've talked to the guy.
Yeah.
And I know where they're getting their stuff from. And,
Yeah.
they're trying to promote the same thing that I'm trying to promote.
Exactly, yeah.
And it's like, they're not doing anybody. Like, if they're going to protest, like, go protest, like, the big factory
McDonald's
farm people.
maybe or something?
Yeah, the factory farm people. Go protest, like,
that are like
fucking Vons.
mowing down the rainforest for cows for McDonald's.
Yeah, but you're going to pick on a small business, that's
trying to do things right.
Yeah, small husband and wife business, and,
Yeah.
Yeah, fuck off.
Hey, man.
Yeah.
This has been super fucking cool.
That's
I think
good
this
times,
is
man.
really, really interesting. So, I
we can
see
keep
you've
this
already
going on
finished your
forever,
second beer.
Yeah. But, like, we'll have a continuation episode or something like that.
Yeah,
right?
maybe we will after you open it up for sure.
Yeah.
But thanks, man. Thanks, and I'll put all your stuff up on triumphantdisasterblog.com, and thanks, Eagle.
Yeah, no problem, man.
Cool. So that was Eagle you guys. Hope you guys liked that. You could probably tell that over the course of the talk, I had several large German beers. I hope we can't tell too much, but I think the talk actually got better and better, and it was a good time. It's a good time talking to him. Hope you guys liked it too. If you guys could take a second, I know I keep saying this, but it really does help. It just helps Apple to iTunes to promote the show and gets bigger and better. If you go to iTunes, look up Triumph and Disaster, and just leave a 5-star rating if you like the show. Really appreciate that. I'll call you out by name in the next episode to thank you. And also, if you like the show, if you go to triumphantdisasterblog.com, which you should, to check out this episode and anything that we may have talked about, any videos or whatever, I'll try to put it in there. And links to Aged Butchery, which you should check out as well, especially if you're in the Los Angeles area. But if you go there, there's a little PayPal button on the bottom of every blog post. And if you like the show, if you might want to kick in what you might pay for at least maybe a coffee or something like that, it'll kind of help keep us rolling. And thanks for listening in. We'll be back soon. Thanks, you guys.